to answer Gambo's question, where the Suns stand after the weekend's games, I don't even think they're standing anymore. They're in the standings, but they're way down in the standings. They lose again last night to the Knicks, 112-98. That was after a 20-point loss to Boston on Friday night. Following the glimmer of hope that was the Suns' 4-game winning streak, they followed that up with an immediate 6-game losing streak. And
all by double digits.
All by double digits. And Mike Budenholzer, Kellan, is talking about one game at a time and focusing on Golden State. I mean, this has just been madness in the fact that it's the same thing over and over again. On one hand, you respect the optimism and the focus, but on the other hand, there's the reality of the situation. This team is done. They're done.
It was a difficult 3 games to watch, and this has been just a really difficult season to watch in general. And I know for a lot of fans listening that there's just like the emotional attachment that you hold to this basketball team and what they've put you through this season. I totally understand that. But for you and I, and you hold some emotional attachment to this team still, I understand that. But for you and I and like Jarrett, Sammy, like the whole lot here, it's just been really frustrating and difficult to analyze this team. And watching those 3 basketball games, it felt like never did any of those games get out of second gear ever. It just felt like watching the late 2010s when the Suns would kind of be hanging around. And in most basketball games you watch, you're like, okay, they're still kind of hanging around. And then from the other perspective, from the Knicks perspective, you're like, okay, you're kind of playing with danger here to let them hang around. But all of us watching knew what was going to happen. Like the Knicks were going to win that basketball game. Like the Celtics game, it felt like you wanted to give credit to the Suns for it not being a 40-point blowout. Like that's the point we're at.
Yeah, like 20 points season. Was acceptable somehow.
It was okay.
It was better than the 30 they lost by the last time they played.
And you can look at last night and be like, oh, well, if they hit 6 more threes, it would have been that's a January conversation. We're in April. Like their season is on the line. And again, like there were some positive moments in that game, particularly the first quarter. The energy from the young guys, again, was a standout. But we're so far past just like giving credit for little things like this. Like if they play like crap and win, that matters more if they kind of play okay in a loss like they did. We're just at that point now in their season where we can't just look at these sort of results and be like, well, Kevin Durant was out and you nearly beat the Knicks. And like we're so far past that now.
Yeah, I mean, Devin Booker played well, looks aggressive again, 16 of 29 from the floor, 40 points. But I think they were going to need about 70 points from Devin Booker to win that game. Here was Booker talking about his record-setting night. It's the most points ever scored by a Suns player at Madison Square Garden. So that's what we're reduced to here in early April.
You know, I've said it from the beginning. This is, my favorite place to play, outside of Phoenix. So, I feel it every time I touch in the city. In the summer, driving past, I think about it. So, just want to take advantage of, just respect the game, respect the history that's been through here. And, not just sports, entertainment, music. A lot of greats have been in these locker rooms, in these hallways.
So Devin Booker, again, being consistent, obviously tipping his cap to the history of the game there, saying the right things, and playing good basketball. But, again, the frustration beyond that, I mean, Bradley Beal ended up with 16 points, but at halftime had not scored. That was 3 halves of his return where he had combined for 1 point, and it looked like he was never going to score again. He talked about feeling like himself again in the second half, but it was too little too late for this team.
Yeah, it's sort of the too little too late now or never. It's never, Vince. That has clearly been the choice here, that this is just never going to turn around. We've been in this same cycle now for a couple of months, quite honestly. Like, you can just go back to even like January before February and that horrible, just maddening month that they played, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But this was one of those games where, and a couple of games here recently, where you just know this team does not have the defensive identity required for them to get through a stretch like this or put together wins. Like you need to have some sort of defensive backbone to win basketball games in the NBA, and they just do not have one. They haven't had one pretty much all year, but especially over the last 2.5 months, it's just been pitiful defense. And it was more of that last night, on a night where their energy was actually pretty decent. But again, I'm not going to sit here and act like just because they tried hard for a quarter that they played good defense. That is not what they played.
Yeah. Kellan, let's go back to that 4-game winning streak. Did you have hope then?
No.
It was kind of a mirage in the desert.
Well, when we were waiting, you just needed to wait and see. Like, you had to get some really sustained play. Like, even going back to last year and how they finished out the season, I had not turned a corner on the basketball team and thought that everything was sort of coming together for them. I didn't think they were going to beat the Timberwolves, and I thought it was going to go 6 games, not 4. I didn't think they were going to be uncompetitive in the fourth quarter like they were in 3 of those 4 games. But it has been a situation where whatever has been infecting this team all season from a continuity, cohesion perspective, I know listeners have their own theories. The post-game show, as you can believe it or not, with Mitch and I, has been a hoot all year because it seems like every other caller decides who is the problem. Is it Kevin Durant? Is it Devin Booker? Is it Bradley Beal? Is it James Jones? Is it Josh Bartlestein? Is it Matt Ishbia? Is it Mike Budenholzer? I don't think anyone has a certain answer for sure. But
I do. The answer is yes. It's all of them.
Exactly. And I think that's what we have to come to accept here, if you're not there already, is that this is not – the other thing I've learned doing the postgame show this year is everyone always has solutions. Everyone is always going to offer solutions that are going to fix things. This is not fixable. You cannot fix this. It's been broken for over a year now. It's not even this year when it really broke. It was beyond that. And this is just not salvageable in any sort of way, which is why we are going to see major changes this summer.
Yeah. It's also interesting to me, and when you've come on as a guest here, when Bick is in, and I've asked you about the vibes because – being around the team, this does not come off as the normal failure story. Like when there's all kinds of drama and behind the scenes dysfunction, we haven't really heard a lot of wind of that. These guys seemingly genuinely like playing with each other. They say all the right things to a maddening consistent degree where you just want somebody to snap, but it doesn't appear to be in the. This is it's such a unique circumstance for an underachieving team. The bottom line is what you said. There's got to be massive changes. But again, how massive can those changes be when you're as handcuffed as they are from a roster standpoint, from a salary cap and second apron standpoint? They have a lot of challenges ahead of them.
Stick with me on these 2 points. Just really stick with me and focus on what I'm saying. Devin Booker has played 72 games this year. Kevin Durant has played 62 games this year. The Phoenix Suns are 35-43.
Yeah. Make it make sense.
How is that possible? And yet, here it is. Entirely possible. It has been our reality.
By the way, 4 for 34 from three-point range yesterday. There were 23 players in the NBA yesterday alone that had 4 or more three-pointers. There was a lot of bricks being thrown up last night.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.